So your uncle said, everything I need is in the steak.
Pointed at the steak. And I don't remember how old I was, but I think I had to have been around like 14, 15, 16,
Oh,
right?
wow.
So already like thinking about just, the consequences of the food that we eat. And my
Yeah.
dad at the time had already begun to struggle a lot with diabetes. So, he had ulcers on the bottom of his feet
yeah.
off and on all the time. He broke his foot in 6 places and didn't even know, because one of the side effects of diabetes is neuropathy, right? So neuropathy causes you not to feel anything from your knee and below.
My gosh.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
So just experiencing all of that, he spent total, I want to say he spent years in bed, just bedridden.
Wow.
Right. And so, family gatherings, birthday parties, vacations, all kinds of things. Like we went on a lot of vacations. Like I'm not going to act like we didn't, because we absolutely did. But we had to, it was always an excuse, like, oh, like my dad's not feeling well. And we weren't able to fully participate in our family or in our community because of an illness.
Yeah. It's very sad too, because like they just don't know. Like, I mean, it like when I first started educating myself, right? Because I don't just do something just because it's a fad or because someone says it's good, but obviously What the Health was one of the documentaries I watched.
Absolutely.
And I started really doing research and reading. I did like maybe 3 months of research, and then I don't know if you feel the same way, but I got angry. I felt like we've been freaking lied to, like about food, and like
so many different ways.
like all these family members that passed away and been sick, like they didn't need to. You know what I mean? It's just, it's probably the most successful marketing scheme in the world is the meat and dairy industry. And they're very powerful, you know, and they have lobbyists, and it's like it's going to take some time, but what I'm really happy about is the new generations, like the millennials and Z, they're very progressive when it comes to that.
These babies are being born vegan. Like they already know. Like how many videos do you see on YouTube of just like little babies and they're like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to eat that. Babies are coming out vegan. How they are, they're just like much more aware.
Yeah.
They're much more aware and a little bit less susceptible to, just the same old thing.
Yeah. And that brings me to something, the food system. Like, do you know that the jails, the hospitals, and the schools have all the same food?
I'm not surprised.
No.
Because I worked at a high school for 3 years. I worked at some San Jose or Cristo Rey San Jose Jesuit high school, and they had this company. I don't know if I should name it or not, but
Doesn't matter, whatever.
X Foods, right? And it was all garbage food, but technically it was like, oh, these are the state guidelines for healthy blah blah blah, and like the kids hated it, right? They hated every single thing about it. And I think that's also the biggest marketing scheme ever, is that if you make food that tastes terrible and say that it's healthy, so people are going to think healthy food tastes terrible. And that's the biggest lie in the whole entire world, because healthy food actually tastes the best.
Yeah, and if you think about the food that kids eat, like we were having a conversation about when she used to eat cereal.
Lucky Charms in the morning.
And wonder why she felt like shit all the time.
I go to class. I'm really sleepy. I don't want to be here. Like my brain feels dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you just overloaded on sugar.
Yeah.
And like all these things we give to kids is like the worst food on earth. And these are like kids, by the way. Like, once their little brains get addicted to the sugar and the salt and
the cheese,
the fat and the cheese, like you've basically ruined them. Like they're little addicts. Like we're all addicts anyways, in some way. Like I started intermittent fasting maybe about a year ago. And that really helped me get rid of my addiction to food, because I used to be one of those people that got hangry, like I was hungry and I couldn't even think, I couldn't talk. I was like, well, what does a drug addict do when they don't get their drugs?
Same.
Cranky.
Like cranky, they just give me that, and especially in this country, because like whenever there's something in abundance, you have addictions, right? And so, like, we're not in a third world country. Like, we're in a rich country. We're in a first world country where you can almost have whatever the hell. Like, it's, like, ridiculous what they do to food. Like, deep fried something that's already deep fried. And, like, so.
Deep fried Twinkies and then the, like, toe Durkin or whatever. Like, why are you putting a what is it, like a duck inside of
and
a
a
chicken inside
turkey.
of a turkey, like
Yeah.
What?
yeah,
It's a
That
it's a
sounds gross.
turducken.
a turducken. There you
Yeah,
go.
it sounds disgusting now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, it's a system thing, right? And I know you wanted to talk about that, but basically our system, and I don't want to like demonize anybody who's like rich and powerful, because not everybody who's rich and powerful is bad.
Yeah, true.
Unfortunately, especially with the leadership now, and it's not a political podcast either, but you have so many powerful people in positions where they don't really care about people's health. They don't really care about the future. It's a lack of leadership, really, is what it is.
True leadership, right?
True leadership,
True
yeah.
compassionate leadership.